especially this early. Like, he could possibly win on a motion for summary judgment after all the evidence is heard, but it would have to proceed to trial. Well, the judge, halfway through the motion, basically said, I'm inclined to grant it. And I said, Your Honor, the 10th Circuit has already ruled on this. Like not even just like kind of close, like literally spot on. Like, all I have to do is appeal it and it'll get overruled. And he pretty much just said, okay, well, it's your prerogative, you can appeal it. But I was just like, wow.
Yes.
Like, I was completely taken back. But, so afterwards I called the lawyers in D.C. and they were like, yeah, we told you. Like, you see, they were like, even Biden's own judges, like, they want Trump to be the nominee. They don't want him to disqualify. So then they said, your best shot is actually going to be in Arizona before Doug Reyes. And Doug Reyes, by the way, he still hasn't ruled. After the First Circuit ruled the day before Thanksgiving, on Monday morning when all the courts got back to business, Maryland immediately dismissed the case because they're in the First Circuit. So they already said, well, the First Circuit said you don't have standing. So they dismissed the case. And everybody was expecting Arizona possibly to do the same, but he hasn't.
Welcome to another episode of the Nearly Burrown podcast. I'm Ronaldo McKenzie. This episode brings you a quick update on the Castro V Trump lawsuit. We just got off the phone with Mr. John Anthony Castro, the main plaintiff on the Castro V Trump lawsuits that's happening all over the country. Mr. John Anthony Castro is a fellow Republican running for president. And he announced his presidential bid since 2021, but he's also suing Donald Trump, saying that that Mr. Trump violates Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And this morning he actually sent out a tweet saying that the First Circuit falsely held that despite the evidentiary record clearly supporting my verified complaint's factual assertion of directly and currently competing against Trump with campaign expenses and contributions, my campaign activities were non-existent. To support this, they invented a new legal theory, contrary to Supreme Court precedent, to deny a finding of injury on the basis that I established only a nominal appearance on the ballot, despite paying a $1,000 filing fee when the Supreme Court has previously held that a single $1 qualifies as a constitutionally recognized injury. Further showing their bias and incompetence, the First Circuit quoted out of text a Sixth Circuit decision where the court held that one must be truly in competition while ignoring that. The court based that quote on a finding that the plaintiff in that case failed to show that his name will appear on the ballot. My name is on the New Hampshire ballot. That's Mr. John Anthony Castro speaking here. But there's still hope. Despite the intellectually deficient First Circuit Court, the Arizona Federal Court is still independently reviewing the case and will make its decision this week. Also, I have backup cases in Kansas, the 10th Circuit, Delaware, the 3rd Circuit, and West Virginia, the 4th Circuit. The fight is far from over. I will continue to push forward until we achieve total victory. I will not rest until I've exhausted every single legal route to protect our republic from this tyrant. That's according to Mr. John Anthony Castro. And he goes on to say that the difference between a politician and a statesman is that a politician puts party before country. A statesman puts country first. That's in a tweet by Mr. John Anthony Castro. And Mr. Castro, I actually reached out to him, and while en route, he was flying back. He was at the airport. I spoke with him quite briefly. I have him we spoke on the phone just now, and we have it for you. He will give you an update himself on what's going on with his case. And this is going to be a preface to part 6 of the Castro v Trump, because we did a Castro v Trump part 5. So that he will be back on the show either Thursday or Friday. It's going to be Friday, and we will broadcast it on Saturday. But we will have a Saturday or Sunday. We broadcast. Actually, for Sunday, we will do a recording on Saturday. We'll sit down with him on Friday to give us an update in video and in audio podcast, and we will release it. We publish it on Sunday for Sunday viewing. But he joins us right now on the show. Right now, we're gonna have him. I spoke with him just quickly, and he gave us for 10 minutes, and we have him right here coming up next right now on the Neoliberal Around podcast. This is the preface of the prelude to Castro v Trump Part 6 coming up on Sunday. But here is Mr. Trump. Sorry, here is Mr. Castro. Here is Mr. Castro speaking with me moments ago while at the airport en route back to Dallas from a campaign event.
And still hasn't ruled as of today. So the thing is that Doug Reyes is like me, a moderate Republican that wants a Republican to get elected in 2024 and knows that it ain't going to be Trump. You know what I mean? Like he's just too divisive. And so, basically we're waiting for Judge Doug Reyes to rule. But they also said there's two things kind of like, Judge Doug Reyes might rule in my favor, but he's like, somebody was saying I would probably advise him not to, because what's the point? It's going to go to the liberal Ninth Circuit, and they're going to overturn it, right? Because they don't want you to have standing. They don't want Trump disqualified. So, they pretty much just said that he might not want to paint a target on his back. But then another lawyer pointed out that he's so old, he probably doesn't even care if the target's painted on his back, because his health is declining so fast, he might be dead in the next 2 years. Yeah. So he might be viewing this as a last opportunity to like make his mark before he dies.
Right. That's Doug Reyes.
That's kind of where we're at right now. The interesting thing is that in South Carolina, the magistrate recommended that the case be dismissed with regard to Trump, but not with regard to the South Carolina GOP, because they set the fee at $50,000 to apply to be on the ballot. And the judge said that she's inclined to grant in my favor because it's clearly unconstitutionally burdensome. So, there's going to be a couple of good things that come out of it. Like they'll have to lower the fees in all 50 states going forward, and things like that. But I have to honestly be straightforward and say that if I lose in Arizona, the Vegas odds are like 90-10 against me at that point. I have a case in West Virginia before Judge Irene Berger. She's a female African-American woman appointed by Obama. Politically and ethnically, like definitely like, on my side. But I don't know. She might be a part of the same Clinton strategy, because it was Hillary Clinton that's pushing this strategy. And that's the reason why Hillary's super PAC was backing like crazy candidates like Carrie Lake, Herschel Walker in Georgia, right? Like batshit crazy people that she knew couldn't win the general election. But at the same time, they're like gambling with American democracy. You know what I mean? By allowing these extremists to become the nominee, and then just hoping that the American people don't elect them.
But right now, Donald
the
Trump
strategy paid off.
Leading in terms of the Americans seem to be leading Biden in the polls. I'm not sure why the Democrats would want to promote that kind of matchup.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Trump is leading, but if you look at the polls between Nikki Haley and Biden, it's even worse. You know what I mean? So, like, in other words, there are more moderates that, because I have to be honest, if it's Nikki Haley versus Biden, I can't honestly tell you how I would vote right now. I'd have to like look more into their policies, but you know what I mean? Just the fact that I'm like, maybe I'd vote for Nikki Haley, right? Like she's a ethnic minority, female, successful woman. Like, what's not to like about her? You know what I mean? She doesn't have all that toxic baggage that Trump and DeSantis trying to mirror Trump have. So a lot of moderates, and even probably some conservative Democrats that are unhappy with the economy, they would kind of be willing to be like, maybe we might vote for Nikki Haley. So, it's. Yeah.
And what about? I saw the tweet I saw your response to your tweet today about the updates in terms of they're saying that you are a nominal candidate, and that the evidence is after the fact. What are they talking about here?
They're basically saying that that I'm not really campaigning, that I only flew out there for the sole purpose of putting my name on the ballot, and so and that's not enough. So flying 1,000 miles and paying $1,000 to be on the ballot as a presidential candidate, that's not enough. And so the question though at that point that and unfortunately I can't appeal that decision, right? Like I can appeal it to the Supreme Court, but they have the discretion to reject it. Like they don't even have to hear it if they don't want to. But the thing that's very awkward about that ruling is you said that they say that that's not enough, but what is enough? You know what I mean? Like
they're pushing the goalposts, it seems. But you had announced that you were running before you even brought this case.
Exactly, and I said like guys, I've had my presidential campaign website up and running since late 2021.
Yes.
So like, how can you say that I and $4 a month that I have to pay to maintain that website? There's other design things, and I spent about maybe almost $5,000 like on the full design of the website.
Yeah.
So, again, for them to say and brush that off as like, nah, it's just kind of like, well, how much is enough? Like, if $5,000 is enough, how much? 50, 500, 5 million? You know what I mean? Like, where do you draw the line? And so, the judge today even acknowledged that, and but still, like I said, ruled against me. So I see where they're coming from now. Like they're basically trying to guarantee that Trump is the nominee because they're just like, yeah, dude, he can't get elected. Like there's so many.
So you have liberal
like
judges. You have liberal judges who are working against you, and you also have Trump-appointed judges working against you. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. So that's kind of where it's at. But let me know what time on Friday works for you.
Yes,
and I think my schedule's wide open that day, so I'll be able to. But like right now, we have to focus a little bit on some of the people at my office are like, hey, like we've been delaying some of these tax cases, and we need to close them out, and they kind of need me at the office, and we were supposed to get started right away this week, but I mean, I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot I have to be in New Mexico for this hearing, but so I'm just getting back, and then I have to work on Wednesday and Thursday with the firm to generate some revenue and money, and then I can make time on Friday.
Great. Yeah, so definitely. I will. So I will set up the meeting and have you on. Probably have a guest with us too. My twin brother. We're going to be together. I'm going to be in Florida on Friday too. So we'll be speaking from Florida.
Okay. Nice.
All right. Thanks. Well, I would please be safe, and thanks for the update. And I'll probably send you a message and the link to the meeting and stuff. And happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays to you too.
Yeah, man. And we'll continue to pray and hope that all things will work in your favor.
Right. Okay. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, man. Bye-bye. That was John Anthony Castro giving us a quick update as to the Castro V Trump lawsuit and what's going on. He had just actually released a tweet. So what we started to record a little bit late, but the latest is that he's, according to Mr. I think he had one or two of his cases were dismissed because they are saying that while he has standing, they're saying now they are defining his standing, saying that the evidence is after the fact. But according to, and I actually tweeted about that recently, but according to him, he's saying that and these are liberal judges are against him. Trump-appointed judges are against him because according to the liberal judges, they want Trump to be the nominee because they believe that Biden can win. But I'm not sure where they get that information. It's that I don't know where. I mean, it is trying to put a camel into a needle hole. They're trying to use a camel to string a needle. That because right now Donald Trump seems to have tremendous popularity. Okay, his base is solidly behind him, and the people who the Biden camp wants, who will help Biden win is the black vote, and right now especially black men and many black people. They seem to talk a lot of vulnerable black and brown people they are hurting. Their pockets are hurting. So unless something miraculous happens, but outside of that, this case is beyond that. This case is about holding leaders accountable. So, but we will have him back on the show for Thursday. We will do a video show. But this is a quick update. This is the Neoliberal Podcast. I'm Ronaldo McKenzie.